Once again, good afternoon, class. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Good
afternoon,
sir.
sir.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir.
Magkatunggon
Good
lagi
afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
naniod to na mo unsa ba? Nagkakaon ba mo og koan lunch ninyo? Good afternoon. So if ever there are queries or questions regarding on my presentation, you can turn on your mic later on, or you can send it here in our chat box. So for this afternoon, what I will discuss is about an orientation for engineering mechanics 2. So, um, di ba when we have our first week of class, the first thing is the instructor will tend to present the orientation for that particular na subject. And since for this second semester, um, the course that I will orient is for engineering mechanics too. So ang main reference is basically the syllabus itself and also the student handbook. So the same of what I've discussed last sem, I orient all of you, majority of you, of what is the subject about, what is the criteria of grading, um, mga policies, and etc. Okay, so for the next slide, I will be your instructor. So I will not um, kanang i-elaborate about myself because I think all of you knew me already. So I am a faculty member of the Department of Civil Engineering, currently a faculty member of the Department of Civil Engineering, and I am a licensed civil engineer. And then this is my email address, my Carso email address. So if you want to send a message, or if you want to consult something, you can send it to my Carso email. And then the link of our LMS is shown here. That is tinyurl.com/Masao LMS ES17. So all of you and also the other sections are already enrolled in the LMS. So I hope that um, all of you visited the LMS because there is a syllabus receiving form which is in Google form. Naka-Google form na siya. So I hope that you fill out the Google form for that. Okay? So before we proceed on the orientation on the main agenda for this afternoon, I would like to discuss first the online class meeting etiquettes. So since online setup pa man ta, even though this semester is mag-start na og limited face-to-face classes, but when we say limited face-to-face classes, manggod, it is intended for a specific course, especially for laboratory classes, OJTs, thesis, and etc. Kay kung lecture manggod, it was suggested that pwede lang siya pure online because it is lecture. But anyway, since this particular na course is a pure lecture, so most likely we will do our discussions or classes through online. So I will discuss again, since I've discussed this before, the before, during, and after the online class meeting. So before the online class meeting, it's better that you take a shower. Kaya di ba, when you take a shower, you will feel fresh and awake during the session. Especially our, it depends sa schedule sa itong klase, no? Kung mas kuan siya, mas magkatulgon ka na if ever hapon ang inyong klase. So mas feel sleepy mo anak kung if ever afternoon ang inyong klase. So mas better that um, at morning is naka take shower na mo or probably half bath para at least pag 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 join ninyo sa klase kay you will feel awake during sa session nato sa class session. Second is dress politely and appropriately. So even though this is through online platform, it's better that you dress professionally. It's because professional and presentable. Um, it's because there's a tendency if you will turn on your cam, at least I can see your faces. Especially if I tell you so to open your cam or to on your cam, and then para pud sad na kanang pag-on sa inyong cam ang inyong hangisot is kanang kahit naka t-shirt okay na basta dili lang nakasando or inappropriate na mga kuan, inappropriate na mga um, mga dress. And you think of what you will wear if this was a classroom learning. So, um, like what I mentioned, even though online class meeting patakaron or through online platform, iisipon lang ninyo na naada sa to ang actual classroom setup. So, di ba, ang CSU Manggod has no dress code, meaning we do not have like a uniform rather. We do not have uniforms at atong university. So not sometimes, all of the students always wear um, kanang wash day na clothes. I think the term for that is wash day clothes. And di ba medyo hustle kayo or kahas kayo sa part sa students na kanang ingana ang koan ang ginasuot kay ang uban man gud ng mga schools or universities, they do have uniform. So nagawash day lang sila sa isa ka adlaw. Um, Common ana kay every Wednesday. So sa tua dire, even though online lang ta, make sure that you dress politely and appropriately. Kay basin kung tawagon ta mo, you can if I ask you to turn on your cam, at least you will look professional and presentable. Okay? T-shirt is fine already. And di ba gyapon na mo makita ang lower part because the upper part of your body raman makita sa camera. Third is organize your desk. If you have a desk or a table, it's better that you set up your study area that is comfortable and has minimal distractions, and you keep away um, things that might distract from learning. So, for example, what are the things that might distract you? Kanang mga other gadgets. If you're using like a laptop and you have other cell phone, it's better that you keep that away so that you will focus yourself sa tong klase. Okay? Next is you inform your family members. It's better that you tell the members of your household that you have an online class, scheduled online class, to avoid getting interrupted. So dili man jud maiwasan sa ato no na kanang we will get interrupted if ever we do have online class pero mas better that we tell them ahead of time kay para at least maka-focus jud kasi sa ato ang discussion. Kay for example, uh, kay since naman ta sa atong balay rather naman ta sa to ang sa own house, sometimes our parents will ask us na kanang do this do that, so mo na maka-interrupt or maka-distract sa to. Next is be prepared and on time. So I'm very I'm very kanang shocked kay some of you kay very early. So that's a good thing that some of you are early. And better man jud na you will get early para at least kung naay mga preparation like you need to have your notebook or bottle beside you for taking down notes or to set up your gadgets. And Also, make sure that your gadgets are already charged, audios and camera working. If ever I told you to turn on your cam and mic, and make sure that your internet connection is um, kanang stable the night before para at least mas makaplastar na kadayon, and you set your location a day before your virtual class and position camera where you can be seen clearly and complete a test run before your online class. So actually, applicable lang ni siya for an instructor na required ang uban students that they will turn on their cam. Okay, I knew some instructors that they will ask their students to turn on their cam while the instructor is presenting a topic. One of the things that shouldn't forget snacks, especially that our class schedule is after lunch. It's better that you have at least a snack. Kay until 3 p.m. manggod ka, and much better that while you are listening, you are eating something, but at least if you will, or if you will feel hungry, at least dili ka muhawa, dili ka makamisa kuan sa tong akong gidiscuss sa isa ka topic, at least nanadaan ang imong snack. Actually, kahit tong pre-pandemic, tong before, uh, tong previous na ako ng mga klase tong sa actual um, classroom jud mismo, I always told my students that they can actually bring their snacks. But make sure that it will not distract while they, if ever magkaon sila, make sure na dili siya makadistract sa pag-discuss nako. Okay, so for me, sa ko ang koan kay okay sa ko na ay snacks. At least maka maka-provide og energy po sa inyo ha. Kay nabagoy uban students magod that they will enter to my class from the previous class mismo, meaning gikan sila sa isa ka klase or kanang sa isa ka room mismo. So murag haggard naman good na kanang after sa isa ka klase nila diretso dahil sila sa kuan sa ako ang klase, and then murag wala sila break mismo. So to 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 kanang buy something or whatsoever for their snacks. So at least mas better that they will bring their snacks sa ilaha. So sa inyo ha, since naraman mo sa inyong balay, okay ra pod na namoy snacks sa inyong tapat kay di magyapon ako makita ana, and also during sa akong discussion is um, turn off man pod ang inyong mic mismo. Lastly is it's better that during to focus during your online class, it's better that you sleep early. Okay. The reason is that kay if ever magod late mo matulog, pagkaugma, you will feel sleepy jud. Okay? So mo na itanggal na ang mga kasi term man. I'm not sure if it is term as a vice or kadang koan kanang bitaw mga magdula pa sa mga video games like ML or whatsoever. I think di man gud na siya di man na siya koan kanang actually okay man magdula pero make sure lang jud that dili kayo i-koan imong self na na magkuan jud ka mismo kanang dugay ka matulog kay tugod tugod nagdula ra ka or whatsoever. O okay man pud sa na kanang you will kanang um late ka matulog kay tungod you do your assignments or homeworks pero kanang magdula marag i-set aside na siya. It is the start of the second semester, so much better that you focus on your kanang mga klase na mismo. Okay? Kay second year naman mo, next school year you will be turning third year, and then pila ka years na lang you will be turning fourth year, and then after that you will graduate, and then and you will take board exam, and then afterwards, puhon in the future, if you will pass the board exam, you will become an engineer. So, 'di ba? At least kamay antos na lang. Ingala po na ko ang mindset before na when I was in college, I tend to focus on my goal mismo. And yeah, the reason is consistently heading to bed and waking up at the same time. It helps maintain a healthy internal clock for our body. So, 'di ba usually ang minimum number, tama ba? Minimum number hours of sleep kay 8 hours. So make sure that nakatulog ka mga more than 8 hours para at least um, kanang ma-conjure ang imong body, imong internal clock sa imong healthy internal clock sa imong body. Next is during the online class meeting. So, morning siya kanang ko asa nagklase ta karon. Um, the first thing is you use your real name. It's better that you use your real name not only sa ato ang koan sa ato ang Google Meet, but to other social media platforms like sa ato ang GC nato. So, di ba, you notice that I actually tag someone na lahi ang name. Pero sa ko kay lahi po na akong name ang because I'm using Facebook. So sa akong Facebook, I'm using a different name because the reason why I changed my name or I'm not using my real name, it's because of the kanang bitaw dili ma-search ako ang pangalan mismo. Pero kung email man god is for formality, mas better that you use your real name mismo when sending emails. So, Mona, keep things professional and scholarly, and always use your real name, especially when communicating with your instructor. Para makabulupod ko kung kinsa tong akong gi-message or if that particular student is my student sa isa ka subject nako. Second is mute and unmute. So just turn off your mic if ever you are not asked to avoid interrupting your instructor. So like what you did right now, all of you you just turn off your mic, and then if ever ma-turn on lang inyong mic, if ever tawagon lang kamo, if ever if I'm asking you a question kung gitawag ta mo during sa klase, then just pay attention to your instructor. Even though this is a online setup, there's a barrier between us, no? Na a barrier na ako dire, tas na mo dira, kalang dili ta mo makita, I don't know what are you doing right now. Make sure that you pay attention to your instructor and get realistic as if you were in a classroom. So, we are murag 2 years already, almost 2 years kay I remember the pandemic started March 2020. So that was the time kung asa nag-start ang pag pag pag-rise of cases ng COVID-19. And while the teacher is discussing, it's better that you take down notes. Jotting down important details helps you remember the lesson. Why it's important to take down notes? It's because mo ninyo gamiton in the future for review purposes or for review purposes kung mag-take mo quizzes or exam. And dili lang wala siya kuan bitaw kanang for example kung mahumana ang subject, dito lang magamit ang inyong notes. Dili, pwede pa na siya magamit in the future, for example sa other subjects like kung asa pwede pa magamit ang mga concepts natong na-discuss karon, pwede siya mataka sa inyong other subjects mismo. Just an example, in my case, when I was in college, I am kanang fond or kanang I always take down notes um during classes sa ako mga professors, and then ginagamit gyapon nako to na mga notebooks nako kahit tung nag-review nako. So tung nag-review nako, gidala pa jud nako dito ko asa ko nag-review, uh, and also I also shared that to my classmates tung nag-review pod mismo. So naay advantage jud while you take down notes or naga-take down notes jud mo mismo. So mao na, mas better na naamoy notebook and a ball pen beside you para at least ma-take down notes kung sa itong mga important na mga kuan, na mga information. Okay? And if you do not understand something, it's better that you ask questions. So, balik-balik naman ni siya na every discussion, every time mahuman ako sa ako ang topic, I end it with, do you have any questions so far, class? Kay basin di ay naamoy clarification sa tong topic that needs to address. So you never let a class session leave you hanging. It's very important that you ask question. Ayaw ka ulaw that you will ask question sa imong instructor, because that kind of attitude will, if ever dili mo mag-ask question, it will be the same if ever mag-work na mo. For example, kung mag-work na mo, no, kunya, ang imong boss will instruct you sa unsay imong buhaton. For example, kanimong buhaton kanang magbuhat kag ing-ani, mag-design kag ing-ani, and then nag-oo ra ka, pero in your mind kay nay kalmitong gusto nimo na kay gusto ipangutana pero maulaw ka kay tungod taas ang expectations sa boss sa imo ha. Ayaw ingana na mindset. Make sure that you ask question para at least makabalupod ang inyong koan. For example, inyong sa ato karon sa COA, so other instructors ninyo, or kahit sa pag-work na ninyo in the future, na kanang clear na sa inyo ha ang koan atong gihatag na task, or sa atong klase ba mismo is na sabta ninyo ang koan ang discussion. So mana ayo ka ulaw when you ask questions. Mo nang gingon na be curious always sa tanan. Yeah, that will be for the during the online class meeting. Then after the online class meeting, after using your gadgets, after hours of using your gadgets like a laptop or a mobile phone, because it depends if you're using a laptop or a mobile phone, take a break. Kahit hindi 20 minutes, you take a break. Ayaw Facebook afterwards, ayaw nagdula afterwards. You take a break. Okay? Pwede na unya na ka magtanaw sa Facebook, magkuan. Even though we are in the kanang sa term ana kanang murag kanang ang mga tao na karon kay naga ano na sa technology, kanang um, naga-rely na sa technology mismo, sa social media. It's better that you take a break. Ako gali sa una tong when I was kanang bata pa ko, tong elementary and high school, I think that was the start of kanang nag-boom ang computers, like that is what I remember before. And then tungod to ako ang self kay siguro ko computer. And what happened karon nag-eyeglass na ko. So mo na ako kong mata, ang grade sa akong mata kay taas kayo, like 200, because I always go to an eye doctor, and then para ma-adjust ang ako ang eyeglasses. So, and also I found out that my one eye is nearsighted, meaning that I cannot see clearly kung sa layo. So kailangan duulon pa jud nako ang ang letters or ang words or ang sentence. And then the other I is astigmatism, meaning during dark, kadang kung dugyong mismo is na mga flashes of lights na kanang bitaw makuan sa imong mata. So, inga lang nahitabo because I am always using gadgets. Then bitaw mo ligo diretso or magwash akong face. So that is what happened to my eye. So I hope um, it will not happen to sa inyo no na make sure that you always take a break, make your eyes kanang rest kahit dili lang 20 minutes basta make sure lang jud na dili mo magtanaw og kanang mga gadgets like laptops or mobile phone. So those are some of the meeting etiquettes before, during, and after, and I hope that you will kanang apply this for the whole kanang for this semester rather nato, and not only sa to ang klase sa to ang course but to other classes dinyo. So I hope that you will apply this also kaning mga online test meeting etiquettes. Okay, now let us proceed to the objectives. So for the objectives, you as a student must be able to. The first thing is what I will discuss is to the vision, mission, goals, and objectives. So most likely I will not elaborate further of this part. Kay every orientation has this portion kung asa gi review balik ang vision mission sa university, ang goals and objectives ng college or your department or program. The second is the most important part is I need to um, discuss the course information, criteria for grading, and the course outline. Um, Also to discuss the class policies and evaluation details, and lastly, what are the social learning platforms rather using in this course. So now for the vision, mission, goals, and objectives. I will not discuss further about this part since you knew this already. Especially kung mag-orientation ang inyong mga instructors, they will include this the vision mission and the vision mission of the university and also the goals of the college. So I will not elaborate further about this part. So we'll just proceed to the next slide. For the college goals, this is actually the goals of our college, the College of Engineering and Geosciences. So I just highlighted some important um, words. So first is globally competitive graduates with high ethical standards. Second is to provide continuing education programs. Third is mutually beneficial linkages with sustainable and inclusive development. And lastly, to continually improve the delivery of services to ensure relevance and compliance to standards and regulatory requirements. So for the program education objectives, this particular course is under engineering sciences, which is a preparatory course for all engineering programs. So this is not actually for all engineering programs. Kaya ang kaning engineering mechanics 2 manggod is kanang kuha ni siya kanang um, nalang ni siya sa curriculum ng mining and EBE. So wala ni siya sa GE and ECE because their mechanics, engineering mechanics kay general engineering mechanics or ES15 where mechanics 1 o mechanics 2 na combine. So that is during last sem. And gi-offer lang ni siya sa ABE karon gi-offer lang ni siya sa ABE and mining, and soon in the future or next school year engineering mechanics 1 and engineering mechanics 2 will be offered also to civil engineering. And for program educational objectives, just refer to your respective department or program. And I believe that some instructors, especially for professional courses, they will always include the program educational objectives. Okay, so just refer to your respective program educational objectives mismo. Course intended learning outcomes. After completion of the course, the students should have attained the ability to first discuss the concepts and applications of kinematics and kinetics. And second is apply computational skills in solving problems involving kinematics and kinetics necessary for engineering practice. So basically, unsa inyong ma-attain after you completed the course, this particular course. So these are the two statements. So I hope that you will attain this one after you completed the ES17. So for the next slide, this is the most important part. For the course information, um, first one is it is the course code is ES17, and the course title is Engine Mechanics 2. So actually the other name, actually for other universities, the other name for this particular subject is Dynamics of Rigid Bodies. But according to CMO, gi-change lang nila ang name into Engine Mechanics 1, which is the Statics of Rigid Bodies, and Engineering Mechanics 2, which is the Dynamics of Rigid Bodies. And for course description, is this is actually a course covering topics in dynamics of rigid bodies or solid mechanics dealing with bodies that are in motion. A difference lang ana niya sa ato ang gidiscuss last sem sa engine mechanics 1 is that ang statics of rigid bodies or engine mechanics 1 is that we are dealing with bodies or objects that are at rest or in a constant velocity. When we say constant velocity, the acceleration is always zero. But when we talk about engine mechanics 2 or dynamics of rigid bodies, that is bodies or objects that are in motion, meaning we are talking about velocity, speed, acceleration, position, um, or and etc. So those are some of the important concepts that we'll be discussing in engine mechanics 2. So the topics or some topics na itong ma-encounter, these are kinematics and kinetics of a particle, kinematics and kinetics of rigid bodies, um, work energy method, and impulse and momentum. So this course is composed of 54 hours lectures covering from basic concepts to its applications. So 54 hours lecture siya, it's because sa isa ka semester, it composed of 18 weeks. So since 18 weeks, and this um, particular course is a 3 units lecture, meaning 3 hours per week na siya. So 3 hours per week times 54 hours, times 18 weeks rather. So that will be equal to 54 hours. And modified arrangements have been made to facilitate remote learning and teaching, and all the materials such as lecture videos, lecture notes in PDF format, and learning assessments like exams, quizzes, and computational exercises will be uploaded in Moodle, which is an online platform for remote learning. So ato ginagamit karon um, since online class through online platform pa man ta, ato ginagamit karon is the Moodle, which ang name sa itong Moodle sa CSU is the Masaw LMS. And materials will be uploaded weekly based on the projected schedule of topics in in the syllabus, and all the learning activities will be given online. So prerequisite, if you pass the ES16 or Engine Mechanics 1, you will enroll the ES17 or the um, um, Engine Mechanics 2. So ang co-requisite niya is none. Wala siya co-requisite. And like what I mentioned earlier, the credit would be 3 units lecture. It is a pure lecture. And the class schedule is 3 hours lecture per week. So, money ang mga schedule sa kada section. For E1, that is Monday and Thursday, 1:30 to 3 p.m. For K1, that is Tuesday and Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. And for section M1, that is Tuesday and Friday, 1:30 to 3 p.m. So depende na siya kung unsa na adlaw. Kay once a week raman ta mag-meet if ever mag-synchronous class ta ana. For the Google Meet link, it is already posted in the LMS, so it will be used for every scheduled or announced meeting. So below are the links. So here are the Google Meet link per section for E1, K1, and M1. For criteria for grading, the assessment method composed of major exams, which is 60%, computational exercises or problem sets, that is 50%, and quizzes, which is equal to 25%. So ang atong major exam, divided into two parts, that is midterm and finals, that is 30% and 30% for both midterm and finals. Computational exercises or problem sets, this is actually a assessment method kung asa maghatag ko um, problem sa inyo ha. Basically, ang buhaton ng ninyo is, since this is a computational exercises, you just only solve the given problem, and since you will have the same problem, each student will have a different data. So lahi jud mo og data ana. Kay ako way of checking ana is I have an Excel for that, and then I will just input the unsa tong inyohang data, and then I will just check it if nakatugba ba siya sa inyohang solution. For the quizzes, which is 25%, it is composed of problem solving and objective type quizzes. So problem solving type quizzes is 15% and objective type quizzes is 10%. And for this part, before sa kung previous na kanang syllabus, approved syllabus, the objective type quizzes is actually 5%. I just increased that into 10%. It's because sa objective type quizzes, I include already the class participation. So every time we will have a synchronous class, I will be asking someone or a student to answer a question to answer my question, and it will be considered as a class participation. So each student twice mag class participation, one from midterm and one for finals. And also include po diri ang tong um, online discussion forum, which is also in the LMS. So dito, I will post a question and all of you will answer that particular question. So this is a total of 100%. And for computation of grades, it will be based from base zero, meaning that um, I, I I compute that by using score over the total items. So mada ko ang pagbuhat or way on computing the grades. So basically, actually sa uban universities rather, uban universities, dili base 0 ni uban base 50, base 60, base 40. Pero sa 2A, it is base 0, which is ano na siya, directly na score over the total items. For the behavioral dimension evaluation, which is for major examination, this is where this is my basis on how I make my examination. So it is composed of knowledge and application or analysis. So knowledge both for midterm and finals, that is 20%, and this includes defining relevant terms, identifying variables, recognizing a topic's principles, and for application or analysis, that is 80%, that is composed of problem solving. So ang question why application or analysis is higher than knowledge, it's because the agent mechanics to compose of problem solving. So mag-problem solving jud ta ana. So that's why my percentage for application or analysis is higher compared to the knowledge. And I include knowledge because importante jud na you still remember or you still study or remember the concepts or the terms that we had discussed sa kada topic na to. Next, for the course outline. So for midterm, these are the list of topics. So for midterm and finals, it is divided into two. So the midterm, it is the particle, and the finals, which is on the next slide, will be about rigid body. So particle, for both particle and rigid body, it composed of two parts. It is kinematics and kinetics. So for weeks 1 and 2, that is kinematics of a particle. Weeks 3 to 4, kinetics of a particle, which is the force and acceleration. Weeks 5 to 6, kinetics of a particle, which is for work and energy. And weeks 7 to 8, that is kinetics of a particle, which focus on impulse and momentum. So sa kinetics of a particle, the same thing, it composed of the three parts. So, money ang force and acceleration, work and energy, and impulse and momentum. So once we already discussed diri sa midterm topics, ma-apply dayon nato na siya sa finals mismo. So sa finals, it focus on rigid body. So the same thing, it divided into two, which is the planar kinematics and planar kinetics. So weeks 10 to 11, that is planar kinematics of a rigid body. Weeks 12 to 13, that is planar kinetics of a rigid body uh, for force and acceleration. Weeks 14 to 15, that is planar kinetics of a rigid body for work and energy. Week 16 to 17, planar kinetics of a rigid body, which focus on impulse and momentum. So, kung sa itong na-discuss or natunan sa midterm, we will apply that on the final topics which focus on the rigid body. So these are the printed resources. So these are some examples na pwede ninyo ma-search online or kanang pwede na to ma-apply sa to ang subject or sa tong core subject mismo. And I believe that two of these printed resources are already uploaded in the LMS, so you can have a copy of that. So these are actually the Python and Q Salas and Hibiler. So, mao na kong basis ako pagbuhat sa lecture materials. So, you can have a copy of the PDF that I uploaded in the LMS. For the online resources, I have kanang ma-provide na link. We have this mathalino.com. Actually, sa mathalino.com, it is a combination of statics and dynamics. So, ang sa dynamics kay duwa lang ka topics ang na-discuss, dili tanan, kay mostly ang nasa mathalino.com kay kung ma-view ninyo ni kay mostly mga topics sa statics. Pero if you have other online resources na makita, pwede ninyo siya magamit for kung gamiton ninyo for studying or for references. So you can use that if you will find other online resources. And for other one is the YouTube video playlist. I have actually two links. The difference lang sa dua is that the first link is it has many examples. Ang sa second is actually the same lang sa ilang dua pero ang kaning sa second link is ano lang gi discuss lang niya gi-discuss lang niya ang kada topic. Pero nasa example pero unlike diri sa first link kay um, daghan siya yung mga examples. So, basically, these two YouTube links kay YouTube video playlist na link kay the same lang silang duha. And the same, gikan lang po di siya sa same channel. Next is at the end of the semester, students receive a final grade for their enrolled courses. So the final grades and their percentage equivalents are as follows. So I will not elaborate on this part. um, because you already knew on this on say equivalence in yung general average pag abot sa final grade ninyo. I will focus on this kaning 55 to below 60, which is subject to instructor's evaluation. So basically, it is the discretion of the instructor kung unsay niyang buhaton sa 55 to below 60 kay 60 is actually the minimum passing grade or minimum passing general average. So ang kanina part I always consider this as as an INC, which I will discuss later on. And below 55, that is 5. And take note, students shall not consider the adjustment of the grade requirement as a right. It's because you as a student, what you will do is you just only comply all the graded course requirements, the quizzes, the exams, the submitting the problem sets, and I as an instructor is to record all of the submitted graded course requirements. And kung unsa tong akong kung sa inyong gi-submit at unsa tong inyong score mo tong akong i-input sa kuang class record. So take note on the last statement na do not consider the adjustment of the grade requirement as a right. Next, let us proceed to the course management and class policies. So this course will be delivered online via the university's online learning management system, which is the masao.lms.carso.edu.ph, and only students officially enrolled in this course shall be given access to the course LMS page. And I believe all of the students um, enrolled in this course are already enrolled in the ES17 LMS. So, wala na yung problema, ana. So, if you have a problem, if ever na ako'y nakalimutan, pero imposible po na siya kay I always check the number of students per section. So, pero if ever na problem, you can ask me right away. Um, Next is students are required to participate in online course activities on a weekly basis. So you are required to participate in course activities which will be delivered sequentially in accordance with the syllabus. And this is by clicking the corresponding links to the teaching learning activities and graded course requirements in the course LMS webpage. So when we say TLAs or teaching learning activities, it consists of pre-recorded lecture videos, online lecture via live streaming, like what we did right now, and reading assignments, demonstrative lectures, audio-video presentation, online forum, and online workshops. And one of reason, if you notice sa LMS nato, kahit sa previous SEM, um, kanang you are required jud to at least comply kahit i-view lang ninyo ang mga um, teaching learning activities kanang i-view lang ang lecture video and also the PDF na gi-upload sa LMS. And any TLA or graded course requirement shall be completed or complied on or before a date and time specified by the instructor before proceeding to the next TLA or graded course requirement. Bona, like what I mentioned, you cannot proceed on taking the assessment tasks, like taking graded course requirements like quizzes or exams without complying the teaching learning activities. So, gina-restrict should na po na siya. And all provisions of the CSU Student Handbook on class policies shall apply. So, if ever if ever wala na ko na discuss ang uban policies dili sa atong orientation, you can actually read the student handbook ng CSU. Now for the INC grade. So this is actually given to a student whose class standing throughout the semester is passing, but insufficient to complete all academic requirements. This is for the course due to any valid reasons like accidents or illnesses. So any deficiencies must be done within the academic year following the incurrence of said deficiency by passing the examination or meeting the requirements for the course. So, um, kaning compliance sa incomplete grade kay murag ang time limit niya is within for 1 year lang, good for 1 year. So after a year, mo expire ng imohang INC grade, meaning mag-re-enroll ka balik sa katong corresponding na course, tong core subject mismo. Kung wala nimo na comply ang requirement within 1 year or within the academic year mismo. And completion of incomplete grade is or shall be the sole responsibility of the students. So this one is when we say sole responsibility, ang buhaton jud ana ninyo is you actually kanang submit unsa tong mga necessary na mga requirement unsa tong kulang ninyo kay depende maguna sa inyo hang um, depende maguna sa inyo hang sa ako glass record kung unsa inyo hang um, deficiency. If ever you failed to submit a problem set, you didn't take a quiz, so mo ang inyo hang i-comply. And I, as an instructor, what I will do is I will just kanang fill out the grade completion form or mga forms na to be submitted to the college dean for signature and also to the registrar. So, actually, ako na mismo ang nagalihok ana sa mga forms. And then, ako na ang mag-forward sa college dean and then ang staff sa dean's office ang mag-forward sa registrar. And then, for unfinished thesis, a grade of in progress shall be given. So this is for students that has thesis na subject. So sa right side, these are the forms. The first part, the first four rather, is the grade completion form. So kani kay generated na ni siya sa system kung asa mag-input na ko incomplete grade and then i-print na lang nako to siya and then magbutang na kong signature and then i-forward na dayon nako sa college dean and sa registrar. And then sa second form, this is actually a form for verification kung asa i-attach lang tong i-submit nimo na mga incomplete requirements. Kay naman ko yung ubang instructor na basin maghatag lang sila um, incomplete grade without a evidence na basin naghatag na sila na wala da ay naghatag og mga um, requirement ang student. So, mo nang purpose nga no na ay verification on the issuance of incomplete grade. So next is academic integrity. So this is the academic integrity. When we say academic integrity, this is each student in this course is expected to abide the standards of academic integrity, and you are required to commit to academic integrity to show respect for your own work and the work of your peers. So your answers to assignments, quizzes, laboratory exercises, and other grade course requirements must be your own work, except for those requirements that explicitly permit collaboration. So when we say collaboration, such as discussing assignments with peers, is allowed as long as it is specified in a particular teaching learning activity with corresponding evaluation measures. So okay lang man na um, you ask questions with your classmates, but it doesn't mean that you will copy the output from your classmates. So that is actually considered as academic dishonesty. And you may not share your answers or solutions to graded course requirements with anyone else unless explicitly permitted by the instructor. So this includes anything written by you as well as solutions provided in course materials. So academic dishonesty will not be tolerated, and any student found to have participated in academic dishonesty will receive a fine in the course. and may be subject to further disciplinary action. So the Code of Conduct prohibits students from committing the following acts of academic dishonesty. These are academic fraud, engaging in activities that will dishonestly improve your results, or dishonestly improve or damage the results of others, copying or allowing one's work to be copied, which is a common academic dishonesty, fabrication or falsification, sabotage of others' work, and substitution, and among others. So, these are some examples of acts of academic dishonesty. Circulating or selling test materials. So, um, since my lecture materials are all uploaded in LMS, you are not kanang dili pwede na you will circulate or sell all the lecture materials uploaded in our LMS. So once downloaded, it is only for you. So unless otherwise stated, all course materials and related resources are copyrighted by the instructor or their respective authors as indicated in the material. So you are not allowed to circulate or sell any of these materials or resources. And actually, naitabo ni siya sa before, kung asa na yung ubang students, they will upload to a certain site so that they can get a PDF. So, mao na ang kuan ang kanang issue before. And take note that all course materials available in the Moodle are subjects for intellectual property. So here is a definition of the intellectual property. And if you want to learn more about intellectual property, you can browse the following websites. So take basta make sure that once you download all of the lecture materials uploaded in the LMS, do not circulate or sell the lecture materials or class materials. Okay, once found na you circulated or sell the test materials, you will be sanctioned or you will be reported by your violation. So next is accommodations for students with disabilities. So for students with disabilities, your access in this course is important. So you can submit your SWD or PWD certificate early in the semester so that we have adequate time to arrange your approved academic accommodations. So if you need immediate accommodation for equal access, you can send me a message to my Carso email. For attendance and absences, as the course will be delivered online, attendance will not be checked except for activities that require the student to actively participate, such as online lectures via live streaming, like what we do right now. However, your progress with the course will be monitored based on the completion of scheduled course activities and compliance of graded course requirements. So online class meetings specifically for further discussion of topics and for consultation will be held via Google Meet. So the instructor, I as an instructor, will announce the meeting details ahead of time and will be sent through the messenger group chat or the virtual bulletin section of the ES17 LMS course page in the Moodle. So if ever some students cannot attend to the scheduled online class meetings due to unavoidable circumstances, so I will just upload the recorded online class session in the Moodle. For the formative and summative assessment, your performance in this course will be assessed based on the following evaluation measures. So it consists of quizzes, which is divided into two, which is the problem solving type quizzes and the objective type quizzes. And the problem sets or the computational exercises per topic and will be given per topic, and major examinations, which compose of midterm and finals. So ang major examinations consists of midterm exam, which covers the topics from weeks 1 to 8. And the final exam is a comprehensive, which covers all the course topics. So, ang sa examination, most likely in the future, we will have a face-to-face major exam. So I will announce that soon if ever mag face-to-face exam ta ani kay pwede man ta maka face-to-face exam depende sa alert level of sa isa ka LGU, and pero for other teaching learning activities or graded course requirements, it can be done through online. Major examinations. So examinations are integral components of instruction and shall be administered by the instructors for the purpose of evaluating students' performance, subject to applicable academic policies and standards of the students. So the students are allowed to take a special examination if ever dili mo makatake sa during the scheduled exam. If ever the student itself is kanang due to unavoidable circumstances such as serious illness, death in the family, or accident. So you can request for a special examination through the concerned instructor. And it is the discretion of the faculty concerned to give a different set of examination from what was given to those students during the regular schedule. So here is the link of the CESU student handbook. So if actually, not all of the parts of student handbook were discussed here sa atong orientation. So you can actually check the link so that you can read other policies indicated in the student handbook. And for the social learning platforms na itong ginagamit dito sa ito ang core subject, for the Moodle link, that is the tinyurl.com/masaw-lms ES17. So all of you are already enrolled in our LMS. For the Facebook Messenger, the name of our group chat is ES17 Engineering Mechanics 2 group chat. And here, if you want to watch again the orientation done by the university and the college, you can watch again the recorded Facebook Live. So we have here the link during the CESU student orientation and also the CGS virtual student orientation, which was conducted last SEM. And if you want to communicate me in the following platforms like through Moodle, Messenger, or Gmail, you can follow the this guide. So first is you greet and address the message recipient. You introduce yourself properly, construct the context of your message properly, and end your message with thanks and appreciation. And just a reminders, since we had an orientation, we will have an objective type quiz on February 28, 2022. And also, I will be uploaded lecture materials for the first topic or the first subtopic about rectilinear motion of particles, which is an asynchronous. And we will have a synchronous class next week. So these are the schedule for each class. So please be reminded for the objective type quiz and also the schedule for our next synchronous class. So that will be all for our orientation. Um, if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me for clarification so that I can address your concerns or if you want to clarify something. So thank you everyone for listening.